The discomfort that you and I are experiencing at present is all for a specific design and purpose. That if we will persevere, hold on, and endure, we will see the result of this purpose, the restoration of Am Israel. Hi, this is Barry Phillips with 10-Minute Torah, day number 5, a Torah portion, HaAzinu, the final Torah portion. As you have viewed the other 4 and now this particular episode, if you will, we're looking forward now to Shabbat, next week to Yom Kippur, and then at the end of the week, this time next week, we'll be celebrating entering into Sukkot. So much to take place in so little and so few days. But I want you to understand and to know that each day that you are a part of is vital and extremely important. These 10 days of awe that we're still in require prayer, introspection, a deep, serious look at ourselves. Allow the ugly to come to the surface and let you and Yah deal with it, so that at Yom Kippur you're ready to rejoice and to celebrate the fact Yeshua is the Redeemer and the Restorer. As we go a little bit further in Devarim, Deuteronomy chapter number 32, the word says in verse 8 and following, when the Most High gave the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the boundaries of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. Think about that. The way that the nations are formed, their boundaries, their land allotments, their placement in the earth is for the purpose of Am Israel. More on that in a moment. For the portion of Yahweh is his people, Yaakov, his allotted inheritance. He found him in a wilderness, and in a wasted, howling desert he encompassed him. He made him understand. He watched over him as the apple of his eye. And then verse 11, as an eagle stirs up its nest, flutters over its young, spreading out its wings, taking them up, bearing them on its wings, Yahweh alone led him. There was no strange mighty one with him, and he made him ride in the heights of the earth. He ate the fruits of the fields, and he made him draw honey from the rock and oil from the flinty rock. You and I read the headlines. We see the news reports. We talk to people in public. We even discuss it at our Shabbat gatherings. Sometimes there's a few steps only away from panic and fear. You can see it in people's eyes. You can hear the uncertainty in their voices. And the question in everybody's mind is, how bad are things going to get, and what are we going to do? In our minds, we're beginning to run all of the scenarios that we read about in the book of Revelation. We read about wormwood, an asteroid, or some kind of planetary body striking the earth and poisoning the water supply. We read about a third of the oceans becoming blood, or at least by some means turning red. A third of the fish dying, a third of the ships are destroyed, sunk by some means. People die, and they die in great numbers, that war and famine and pestilence, they come to the earth and they strike the earth, and not just thousands, but millions, perhaps billions of people die. Can we survive that? Is that literal? Is it figurative? How do we count the numbers? What are we going to do? Why would Yah do all of these things? Well, let's understand all the way back from the beginning. The way that Yah created the earth, the way that he separated light from darkness, the way that he parted the heavens and the earth, the spiritual and the physical realms, The way that he put the seed of the fruit inside the fruit so that it would replicate itself. Putting man in the garden, allowing man to make the wrong choice. Being cast out of the garden, but yet receiving a promise of restoration. All of these things, the lives of the patriarchs, the life of Noah and his family, all of these instances, the genealogies, everything that has taken place since the beginning is all about the creation of a covenant nation of people called Israel. That's hard to fathom. It's hard to grasp. You and I becoming, through the work of Yeshua, becoming a part of this covenant body, being restored back to a people. All of this is about Israel, the covenant people, being with Yah, living on the earth, and ultimately being restored to our Garden of Eden scenario. So the previous alignments of nations, in Moshe's day, some 70 nations, the creation of ethnicities, the building of cultures and histories and lineages and foreign genealogies, everything is about Israel. So that's European history, that's Asian history, that's South American, North American history, native histories of various sorts. It's all about Israel. One writer says that the nations were designed and created to house the exiles of Israel until that they would make teshuvah and then Mashiach return and bring them to their inheritance. Why was America created? Well, we had this problem with King George, you see. No, it wasn't King George, and it wasn't the Sons of Liberty, and it wasn't the Liberty Bell, or just something about the Revolutionary War and the Patriots versus the Tories. It's not really that. Yah birthed this nation and created it, designed it as he has, in order for there to be housing for you and I until the time that the kingdom would come. And for that creation of America, for that version of America, we should be thankful. But let's also understand that the current Islamification, say that word, Islamification of Europe, the threat of North Korea, of Iran, of now Turkey, and then perhaps also Russia, these nations forming an axis against us and against Israel. What is that all about? It's about you and I going home. What about the conflicts the world over? Wars and rumors of war. What's that about? It's about the exiles leaving their host countries and going home. We would prefer to be able to accomplish this without a struggle. We'd like for Yah to say, I'm going to blow a trumpet, and when the trumpet sounds, you're going to be instantly changed, pack your stuff, and head home. You're just going to be able to fly right on over. But instead, his word tells us that we're going to come out of wherever it is that we are in a time of trouble, a time of stressing and testing. And the very earth is going to shake, perhaps even being corrected on its axis to a 90-degree axis. The earth is going to go through upheaval. It's already groaning under the sins of man. Let's also remember in Bereshit, Genesis chapter number 1, that it was tohu vavohu. It was chaos. It was disorder. It was a nightmare of existence. And it was over such an uproar of nature and created order that had fallen apart, that the Ruach HaKodesh hovered over, incubated, and brought vibrations of hope and life through the light, so that the word of Yah could be spoken, redemption and restoration could take place. So Yah is also prophesying through Yeshua, that we're going to go through such days. You go to the book of Matthew chapter 24, you read about these events. But you get down to verse 30, it says, "Then the sign of the Son of Adam appearing in the heavens will take place. Endure, my friend. Hold on. Do not be discouraged. Believe in him who believes in you. Chag Sameach for Yom Kippur, for Sukkot, Shabbat Shalom. You're loved, you're prayed for. We'll see you again next week.